Hello, friends. As stated in the previous episode on time boxing, each one of us constantly trying to improve our productivity. That's a path to success. And we want to do the most that we can do in the given time, in the time available to us. However, as I mentioned last time, we often get derailed by the many distractions that come our way, which a lot of which we have created ourselves, especially your cell phones, etc., and the sheer lack of efficient planning. Today, we are going to go beyond just time boxing as a technique, and we are going to, in today's episode, look at time management in totality. Not only today's episode, over the next three episodes, we will be looking at time management in totality rather than just that one technique that we discussed last time. Today, we shall look at certain tips that will help you to manage time better and improve your time management skills. And of course, thereby making you more productive. In the next two episodes after this, we shall look at the benefits of time management. What are the mistakes that one tends to make in time management? And what are certain strategies that you can use, adapt to become a pro at time management? In the last and final episode of this three-part time management series, we shall look at various tools and techniques that are available to us to manage time better. Okay, all this will help you to make your time management exercise more fruitful and less stressful. So, what are some of the time management tips that we are going to talk of today? One thing is for sure that one needs to follow some kind of a technique and not just do things without thinking about it. If it matters, schedule it and use a time technique that is most convenient to you. Build a buffer time always. Learn to say no more often. And always prep the night before. Don't get stressed early in the morning. Go to bed early. Wake up earlier. By waking up earlier, you get those few hours, maybe just a couple of hours, of undistracted, undisturbed time to do tasks. And that happens to be a very good time to do deep work. Schedule breaks, buffer time, okay, between tasks. Don't just continuously, ideally every half an hour, take a 2-minute, 3-minute break. So schedule breaks and buffer time so that you are constantly more productive. Especially in the cases of tasks that are going to take more than, say, 30 minutes. It is necessary to plan the stage at which you will take a break and continue. Set up a routine. Routines work best because they become habits. Set up a routine. And when setting up the routine, be sure to be aware of and plan depending on the most productive hours or the hours when you are most productive to schedule tasks important during that time. There are certain must-do tasks that will definitely be there in your agenda. You have to do those tasks first because there's no escaping them. They are must-do. So you need to address them first. Prioritize your tasks absolutely ruthlessly. Nothing that he needs this, so I must do it first. No. What do you need to do first? Do that. Prioritize ruthlessly, immaterial of who is asking for what. Maybe except when your wife asks. Do an ABC analysis of all the tasks that are there in your list. I don't need to speak about what ABC analysis is. We learned it first as a part of inventory, at least we did. But then we realized that in everything in life, an ABC analysis helps. So do an ABC analysis of your tasks. And naturally, it goes without saying, do the A category tasks first and foremost. To be more productive and to stay focused, you have to learn and succeed at eliminating distractions. Just saying no is not enough. You have to also make sure that you will not lose focus and get distracted. Avoid multitasking. I know a lot of people who say multitasking helps them to do more. I would venture forward and challenge every one of those people who say that. Tell them to try out doing single tasks without distraction for a few days and come back with the results. Revisit and review your calendar. Things are changing. Your tasks are also fluid. Something may come up which was not there the night before. And therefore, today's task may need some kind of rescheduling. So revisit your calendar, review your calendar. If you're making a proper note of the times that you're spending on various tasks, and you're noting down the interruptions and distractions that happen during that task, by revisiting and analyzing your calendar, you will come to know what are the time wasters that are coming your way, which you need to learn how to eliminate. A big time waster, in my opinion, has been meetings. So double check the need for a meeting whenever a meeting comes up, or whenever you are even calling a meeting. Is it possible that that same task that you are talking of, or for which you're calling the meeting, can be done by a simple phone call and give you the result that is required? Do you really need to meet up? And if you're meeting more than 4 or 5 people, can it be done by a group email rather than sitting there and meeting? Because if it's that not necessary, you're saving a lot of time of each and every one of those participants in the meeting. Another thing which I spoke of last time and which many people still tell me is that they prefer to switch tasks. They get bored, so to say, of doing the same task continuously. So when after some time they switch tasks, they think they become more efficient and more productive. Let me tell you from personal experience that this is totally not true. I have found that if I get distracted or if I try to switch tasks, when I come back to the task, often it takes me as much as 5 to 7 minutes. Definitely on an average, maybe 3 or 4 minutes to get back to the stage where and get my thought process back to the stage at which I had left it. So switching between tasks may not, and at times I still don't get back completely. There are some things that were running in my mind at that time which are not there now, which are elusive. So switching between tasks, I do not believe, is a very great idea. It breaks your flow and it makes you less productive. If you want better time management, you have to learn to make yourself accountable to you. It's not about somebody else controlling you. It's about you controlling and monitoring and holding yourself accountable for whatever you have planned to do. And to do all of this, there is a 4 C's criteria which can help tremendously. The first C of the four C's is clarity. You need to have complete clarity. Well, that's the fifth C, complete clarity on your goals and vision. Without that, you don't know where you want to go. Once you have complete clarity on your goals and vision, you need competency. That's the second C in the four C's. You need to define very clearly where you want to be. Having done that, you need to evaluate where you are today. And once you have done this, you know the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You need to map and plot the path by which you are going to get there. There will always be more than one option. You need to find the optimal route from where you are to where you want to be. And once this is plot, your goals, your time frames, everything comes into place automatically. The third C is concentration. You have to concentrate and focus on your goals 24/7. There can be no distractions. At times, distractions will be inevitable. At times, they may even be necessary. But you have to learn to get back on track and not let those distractions make you stray and wander away from that path that you have mapped out. The fourth C is constraints. No matter at what stage of life you are in, no matter what kind of work you are doing, there will always be things that will impede your progress and slow you down. You need to be aware of these things. Not because you need to avoid them, you may not be able to avoid them. But if you are aware of these things, you will surely figure out a way by which you will not let that thing cause you much harm. You will know how to navigate those constraints. And that is very, very important. So after the four C's, we come to some tips. This is what I've talked about is general. Even these tips are general, but they're more focused on managers and leaders. And the first and foremost is to learn to use your calendar efficiently. And the second thing is to learn to manage interruptions. As a leader who is working with big teams, especially, this becomes challenging. So some of the things that I suggest for leaders and managers is to have a controlled open door policy. Nobody can just walk in on you at any time. Decide on a time slot. You figure out how you want to do it. So, but have a controlled open door policy and have a closed door code. Even if you're working in an open cabin, there must be something you can do. Like in airlines, if you don't want to be disturbed even for food, those pretty girls come and put a sticker on your seat saying, "Do not disturb." So even if you're in an open cubicle, somewhere you put up a sign saying that, okay, right now I'm on a focus this thing, no distractions, please do not come and disturb me. Discourage upward delegation. As a manager, I have found this happening very, very often. Heman bhai, this is too difficult. Can you please do it for me? Avoid it. Train him to do it. Don't keep doing his work. Encourage team members to take their decisions. You have to give them the right to do it. It's just encouraging them to take decisions without giving them the requisite rights is not right. So you need to define the scope and the limits where their decision-making needs your prior approval. But it can't be for everything. Then might as well not give them that. Discourage unannounced visitors. Maybe the first time someone comes, okay, you have to entertain him. He's an important client, whatever. But let it be known very subtly, very gently, that it should have been better if he had taken an appointment, because then you can slot out your time. Follow the times up policy for any meeting, whether it's with the client or anybody. Schedule the time. Okay, 1 hour. At 1 hour and 5 minutes, you must say, convey to them that the time is up. Maybe you continue the meeting some other time, because there are other things you have scheduled. You can't just go on like that. So you need to follow the times up policy. While we talk of external disturbances, in my case, I know there used to be a lot of personal self-induced disturbances. You need to be, I used to change my music while working, and which would distract me. So I learned over a period of time that before I put on a playlist, I would make sure that it has those 30 minutes or 45 minutes, which I'm going to take to complete the task. So avoid self-interruptions. Learn to delegate. This is very important, and it has to be learned right. In fact, I've already got requests from a few of my followers, so to say, asking me to do a whole series on delegation. I am working on it already. I think maybe another week or so I will be ready with it. Coming to meetings, have only productive meetings. Everybody wants meetings all the time. It is of no use whatsoever. Have only productive meetings. As I said, if it can be done over a phone call, if it's just one person, or if it can be done over email, if it's more than 5, 7, 10 people, even 2 people, just get onto a conference call. But if it's a meeting, have only productive meetings. You as a manager need to learn to manage projects and not time alone. So what do you mean by manage projects? The first and most important thing is that the project will have many tasks. You need to pick each task and make sure it is assigned to the right person. By not doing that, trust me, you're going to waste a lot of time and be pulling your hair, so to say, of why the project is not getting done on time. So match the task to the person. Whenever you are introducing somebody within the team to a newcomer, or even within your own team to existing teams about a new project, be short, be snappy, but be amply clear on what you are communicating, on the introduction that you are giving. Cluster related jobs together and then sequence them so that things are done and nothing is pending from before, so that it will hurt the next. Make timely decisions. The ideal is to get into a just-in-time decision mode. Not always possible. There are certain times when there are multiple people working on a project, you need to take a decision well in advance, but make sure that it is made in the right time frame. You can't let that person stagger in performing because you have not made the right decision at that time. So conducting good meetings is very important. In fact, this itself can become another topic. So there are some pointers that I would like to give you about what I call productive meetings. By and large, I have seen that a meeting of over 90 minutes, the time after 90 minutes is a waste, because people have lost focus, people are tired, people have used their brains and there's nothing left right now. So try to make a duration of a maximum of 90 minutes. Announce and distribute the agenda of the meeting well in advance, at least 2, 3, 4 days if possible, unless it's a meeting that's coming up at the last minute, in advance, so that they can study it and they can prepare their thoughts, they can focus their thoughts on each one of the items of the agenda. At least a day before, share a written document which has the notes of what is to be there, what is there on the agenda, and what are the things that need to be decided. And if it's a multi-page note, try to make a one-page summary, which is the least that the participant can do to read and come. Clarify all the deliverables when you are sending out the agenda. Be very clear about what you want to achieve out of the meeting. That will help the meeting stay on track and not get distracted. And make sure that all of them have understood it on the page. At the beginning of the meeting, first note down or talk about the deliverables for the day, for that meeting. In fact, those deliverables could be a good mission statement for the meeting. And write it down. Keep a whiteboard, keep a chart, keep something, but write it down. During the meeting, have somebody, if you're recording the meeting, then you just need somebody to transcribe later on, but have somebody making notes of the start time and the end time of every item on the agenda. You will need that to analyze and make sure your future meetings are well timed. Okay, so make a note of the start time and the end time of this. And another thing that person should do is that whenever you are asking for an opinion or a view or an idea, make sure that you go to every single person who is a participant in the room, take down their opinions, note it down. And it is preferable that you start this from the most junior person, ending with the most senior person. Because once the senior person has talked, and if the junior has a separate view, he may be shy, he may be overwhelmed in mentioning that. So you need to be starting with the junior people and work your way up. Plan and have somebody, one of the participants, play the devil's advocate. You don't need to do it yourself. Get somebody else to do it. So make sure that you have that person appointed in mind and share and confidently tell him in confidence that, boss, you are the devil's advocate today. Set time boundaries for each topic and announce it, if possible, during the agenda itself. And minute the meeting. As I said, with start time, end time, ideas given by various people, everything should be minuted and noted and shared with everybody after that, so that if anybody has questions or they don't agree, they come back to you. So having looked at the tips today, in the next episode, we will look, as I said, at the benefits of time management, the mistakes that we would tend to make, and what are the strategies that will help you to be a better time manager. Good evening. Have a great day. Enjoy the session. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm sorry, today's episode was actually meant for yesterday, but I was a little under the weather yesterday. Thank you. Have a great evening.